Oi, lads. Alright, fighter class chat. Red, white. When fighter class enters the battlefield, search your library for an equipment card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. 2 mana tutor. That's pretty good, no? For 3, equip abilities cost 2 less to activate. Oof. I mean, that's okay, but expensive, isn't it?
Time for another Oliver Kick.
So you need to re-equip twice before that pays off. It's going to take a while for that to be the case. But I guess it's kind of fine if you have like 1 more mana than what your equipment would otherwise cost to equip on that turn, you know? Like if your equip is 2 and you have... Or if your equip is 3 and you have 4 mana, then it's pretty much free to use this as long as you weren't spending that 1 mana otherwise. So it's not too bad, but it can be a bit annoying. But yeah, there are some good equipment with equip 2, where, I mean, you don't mind paying 3 to level up here and then equipping for free, huh? That's pretty fine. Like Shadow Spear, for example, yeah. Equipment sucks in standard. I don't know, I think there's quite a few good equipment, right? Cleave, Maul, Shadow Spear. That's just the ones off the top of my head. Halvar's a pretty good card. Halvar doesn't quite make the cut into just like a normal mono white aggro deck, but Halvar would be great in an equipment deck, and the equipment side of Halvar is really good. But to be honest, I'm not sure you would even play Cleave in an equipment deck, guys. I actually think of all the equipment, Cleave is the cut. Because Cleave, you won't, like, for an equipment card to be good, or for an equipment deck to be good, you need equipment, you need creatures, and you need also cards like this that incentivize you to play equipment rather than just play more creatures instead. So once you've added the equipment and these cards, you don't actually have enough creatures left in your deck to make your cleave cost like less than 5. So I think if there is an enchantment deck, or a equipment deck, which there might be, because I mean this card seems really good, I think cleave would not be in it. Or like maybe you would play 1 cleave because of the tutor thing, but I don't think you would play more than 1. I think you're saying either 0 or 1 cleaves probably in an equipment deck. You want more like mauls and shadow spears, right? It's a bit sad that this card can't draw Halvar. This keeps stacking, yeah, but you'll have to, like, if you play this and then you level it up to level 2 and then you draw another fighter class, the second fighter class comes in at level 1 again, so you would need to upgrade it again. So I mean, and to be honest, you don't really need 4 less to equip, right? So your second one's not great when you draw it, but I mean it's kind of fine to just play a 2 mana, especially if you've already got a fighter class in play that's already level 2. Then I guess the second one's not bad, right? 2 mana, tutor and equipment that already cost 2 less to activate, and then you just leave the second one on level 1. Stop talking about bad card. I don't know, man, I think this card's pretty good. Well, I mean, this card's obviously really good, right? But equipment decks are normally terrible, and it would take a lot for them to become good. But this card is insane for an equipment deck. It's okay in a bad deck. Yeah, that's true. But it's not a bad deck forever, right? At some point, when you keep adding these cards, equipment becomes a good deck, right? I mean, some of these equipment-based synergies are so ridiculously pushed, it's crazy. But they kind of have to be, huh? Because equipment is that bad that you kind of have to push it. It takes a lot to justify playing equipment tribal rather than just playing 30 creatures and 4 cleaves. It feels like we're getting there slowly though. Alright, rogue class. Blue-black. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of that player's library face down. You may look at it for as long as it remains exiled. And then for 3, creatures you control have menace, and then for 4, you may play the cards exiled. Okay, this thing absolutely sucks. This thing is absolutely terrible. Sorcerer class. Blue-red. When it enters the battlefield, draw 2, discard 2. Okay, pretty good. Creatures blue-red to upgrade. Creatures you control have tap, add blue or red, spend this mana only to cast an instant or sorcery spell or to gain a class level. 3 blue-red. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, that spell deals damage to each opponent equal to the number of instant and sorcery spells you've cast this turn. Alright chat, this one sucks. This one's terrible. Level 1 is not worth 2 mana. Level 2 is bad because you have absolutely no interest in tapping your creatures. This card does not go like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna tap your Sprite Dragon to make a mana? Fuck no, you're attacking with your Sprite Dragon, dude. It's already tapped. Like if you're playing it in a token deck or something, like an what's that, Unstable Alliance or whatever it's called? I mean, just play Cycling, man. You don't need to spend all this mana. Just activate Cycling 1. Level 1 is pretty good rate. No, it's not. It's a 1 mana spell, dude. It's a 1 mana spell that costs 2 mana. It's not even a 1 mana spell. Worse than that. I mean, if you can get to level 3, that's pretty good. But you have to really fuck around a lot to get to level 3 here. I just don't really understand what deck wants to play enchantments.
Good content. Keep it up, Mr. Streamer.
Creatures that they don't want to attack with. And a lot of instants and sorceries. Like, that's not a deck, man. Giants? But if you're playing giants, then just attack with your giants. Don't tap them for mana. Ingenious Smith. When it enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal an artifact from among them, put it into your hand, put the rest in the bottom of your library in a random order. Whenever one or more artifacts enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Ingenious Smith. This ability triggers only once per turn. 2 mana, 1/1. Fill your deck with artifacts and draw one of them. Meh. Price of Loyalty. Okay, that's an act of treason. Choose target player, return half the creatures they control to their owner's hand, rounded up. Wow. 5 mana, half board wipe. Nice. Silver Raven. Artifact creature? Spectred Steel or whatever it's called. It's not Spectral Steel, is it? That's a different card. Tempered Steel. Any Tempered Steel gamers in the chat? I'll be honest, Tempered Steel is a contender for the most boring deck I've ever played. Like, it is shit, man. It is the worst. Like, honestly, I hate combo decks, right? But I would much rather play combo decks than Scuffed Gruul. Like, empty your hand, draw 1 card, and just cast it every turn. Is it a land? Okay, I play a land. Is it a creature? Okay, I play the creature. It's the only type of deck that is worse to play than combo. One head deck, full one head, man. No decision points, nothing to hold your attention. Just slam your hand, attack. Garbage. Imrith, the Desert Doom. How the hell do you say that, man? Imrith? Imrith. 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 I like those kind of decks because I'm dumb. That's okay, man. Dumb people exist. That's why we've got a word for it, innit? If it wasn't for you, we would have one less word. So, I applaud you. Has word 4 as long as it's untapped. That's fine, I guess. It's okay. When it deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Then if you have fewer than 3 cards in hand, draw cards equal to the difference. Is this a trigger? Like, so if you have no cards in your hand and you attack, draw a card, and you draw an instant, can you cast that instant and then draw 3 again? It sounds pretty gas. It's a trigger if it's a new sentence, right? Is it not? Maybe that's just nonsense, but it's a finisher for a control deck. I don't think so, man. Seems like an aggro card to me, honestly. For like a blue or blue something deck. Don't think you would ever want to go all the way up to 5 to play this, but it's not a terrible card. I don't know, is this thing pretty good? It's really quite bad against the instant speed removal, huh? Like, because you don't get to draw on attack. You have to actually connect with damage, and you lose your ward once you attack. So that like time between declaring attacks and dealing damage is your guy's just so exposed, and it's gonna die for 2 mana. It's not far off being good, but it's probably a scam, man. Westgate Regent. 3 black flyer. Ward, discard a card. That's not bad, you know. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, put that number of counters on it. Flyer. I don't know, guys. Ward, discard a card is no joke. This card is an absolutely incredible top deck, which is a nice thing about it. I don't know, man. This guy's kind of gas. Not legendary as well, and it can go in your Sorin vampire deck, huh? Survives top deck targeted removal. Yep. I think this guy's a bomb, man. It's kind of a mega bomb because black just doesn't have any 5 mana cards at all right now either. So that opens up a lot of options. Are there any other, like, what other mid-range cards are there in black? Like Rankle is 4, Liliana is 4. Pretty much nothing, huh? Like, this is absolutely nothing. I don't know, guys. I'm calling this a mega bomb. Ward discard a card is just unbelievably good. After a hit, it's immune to Heartless Act. Yeah, but you don't. It's not the end of the world if they Heartless Act this before you've even attacked, man. You can't just look at it like that, right? You have to account for the times where they don't have the Heartless Act, right? And you get to attack. So even if they have the Heartless Act, it's not ideal, right? If they have the Heartless Act, you've paid 5 mana, you've discarded the Heartless Act, and you've discarded the worst card from their hand, right? And you've taxed them 2 mana. But that is literally the worst case scenario. Everything other than that is better, and that is not the end of the world. You would not put a card in your deck that was 5 mana, discard 2, tap 2 lands of the opponent. You wouldn't put that in your deck, but worse things happen in a game of Magic. And that is the literal floor. Yep, by the time, like, you're going to play this in an aggro deck, right, as well? This is another aggro deck card. If your deck is built correctly and it's performing well, I mean, your opponent's not going to have too many cards left by the time you cast this, dude. Like, they're going to be discarding either, most likely a good card, right? They're going to be discarding their top end that they've not been able to cast yet. You get to cast yours. Seems pretty good. I think this card is unbelievably good. I don't. The black mid-range decks are not really a thing though. But maybe it is, man. It's really good with Lily as well, by the way. Yeah, I mean, I think this guy's good. I really like. He would be so much better with one more toughness, because it's the same stats as a Goldspan Dragon, huh? Like if you play this on 5 and your opponent plays a Goldspan Dragon, you're probably gonna block, right? In which case they're just up a treasure. It's not terrible, but it's kind of annoying. But yeah, mono black might be good. We'll see. Druid class. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. For 3, you may play an additional land on each of your turns. For 5, when it becomes level 3, target land you control becomes a creature with haste, and this creature's power and toughness are each equal to the number of lands you control. It's still a land. Yeah. I mean, what's your payoff as a beanstalk giant, huh? I feel like this thing could, the level 1 could cost 1, right? And then maybe it would be okay. If level 1 was 1, you wouldn't mind paying level 2. Or yeah, at least if you're going to make it cost 2, like let you draw a land or something. The first payment of the 2 mana here is just too terrible. This card sucks. Blue Dragon. Lightning Breath. When it enters the battlefield, creature gets -3, -2, and -1. Yeah. Mind Flare. 5 mana, 3/3, dominate monster. When it enters the battlefield, gain control of target creature for as long as you control Mind Flare. Yoinking cards is strong, guys. Yoinking is good. Would it be better with Flash? I feel like that applies to 100% of non-Flash creatures. Or close to that, right? I would love to see an exception to that. Any creature that gets worse with Flash. CROKEYZ? Bruv, CROKEYZ would be insane with Flash. Are you serious? 2 mana, like, upkeep discard. CROKEYZ with Flash would be better than Ura. Easily. I don't know about this thing, guys. Like, there's already a lot of blue yoink spells, and we don't play them, man. You've got that Tested by the Auric, or whatever it's called. 4 mana, just permanently yoink the thing. You've got Lull Mage. We don't really play too much Lull Mage. Even in Rogues, we don't play too much of it. I mean, in something like Cube, this card is an absolute house. But don't know about Constructed though. In my experience, most decks in Standard with blue lands and 5 lands in play, they just pass the turn to me. I don't see that changing. Direwolf Prowler, 3 mana 2/2, or 5 mana 4/4 haste. Okay, kind of scuffed. Magic Missile, 3 mana deal 3. 3 mana sorcery speed lightning bolt. That's where we've come, man. Can anyone explain to me how, with all of the power creep of the last few years, that somehow red is going backwards? I mean, I can explain it. I know the answer. I've given the answer on my stream many times, but still. They despise burn. I don't think they despise burn. I think Magic the Gathering community despises burn, and Wizards likes money, and they want to make cards that people will buy. Paper players are fucking disgusting Gandalfs. Not the description that I would use, but certainly the message that I would like to send. I agree. The Book of Exalted Deeds. Dub. Legendary artifact. At the beginning of your end step, if you gain 3 or more life this turn, create a 3/3 white angel creature token with flying. And for a dub and a tap, exile it, put an enlightenment counter on target angel. It gains you can't lose the game, and your opponents can't win the game, activate only as a sorcery. Oh hey guys, I've got a great idea. You could put this on Faceless Haven. You could animate your Faceless Haven and put it on this, and then your opponents can't win the game and you can't lose the game. Oh wow, some people in chat agree. That's crazy. Right, the first question is this thing good in a life gain deck? The second question is this thing good in a try to cheese the exiled thing? So first question, is this thing good in life gain pile? What are your alternative 3 mana cards that this is competing with? So you need your Heliads, right? You're not going to play this instead of Heliad. So you've got like a maximum of 8 slots left in your deck for 3 mana cards. I would suggest that you're going to want some Skyclave Apparitions in there. So then you've probably got 4 slots left. Maybe you might want to play some PVs. 3 mana white is so stacked, it's ridiculous, isn't it? Yeah, you can't play this in Coco Angels because you need 3 mana creatures. So you're going to play this in mono white life gain, probably. You can't... They've added some green-white life gain cards, but you can't even play this in green-white because there's no green-white lands in Standard. So this is a mono-white card only. And mono-white life gain doesn't really gain 3 life, man. That's the thing. It gains like 1 or 2, right, at the start of the game. And then in the mid-game it gains a lot with Heliad. Like much more than 3. On Faceless Haven it's sick, need land destruction or Seer, right? Well, they can kill it, right? They can kill the Haven on the turn that you're doing this too. But if you do manage to get the counter on Haven, sure, yeah, it's really good. The triple white devotion is great for Heliad though. It is really good. I mean, it does make Lightning Helix pretty good, yeah. Monk class. Okay. Second spell that you cast each turn costs 1 less. 2 to upgrade. You return non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Okay, that's pretty good. And then 3, at the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of your library. For as long as it remains exiled, it has, you may cast this from exile as long as you've cast another spell this turn. I mean, that seems pretty good, no? 4 of this, 4 Clarion Spirits, and then go off, man. Cast 2 spells a turn, win the game. Seems pretty good. Azorius Magecraft with Clarion Spirit and New Dragon. Dude, it's not going to be a thing, man. You can't cast your spells, I don't know what to tell you. You can't cast your spells, man. You have 4 pathways and 12 basic islands and 10 basic plains. You can't cast your spells. Why is blue-white considered shit mana? It doesn't have a snarl, man. It doesn't have a dual land. Why wizards don't print full land circles? Don't know, that it kills me inside. I honestly, I can't understand it. It has to be the second dumbest thing about Magic. Is that you're just artificially not allowed to cast your cards depending on what colours you're playing at some random point in the year. Because, I mean, most likely what's going to happen is this time next year, blue-white will be able to cast all of their cards, and black-green won't be able to. It's so dumb. It is the second dumbest thing about Magic. The first dumbest thing is obviously Narset. So, I mean, like, if they give us a blue-white land, a blue-white dual land, 4 Clarion Spirit, 4 of this, some cheap stuff, seems good. This is a great card, man. Treasure Vault. Don't know, guys. This thing sucks. This is the thing is 3 mana, destroy your own land, make a treasure. Artifact land is auto broken. Yeah, but the thing is, man, nobody cares about a format where this is relevant. Who cares about the text? That's an artifact. Yeah, but who cares about artifact decks, man? Garbage. I mean, yeah, guys, artifact lands are good for artifact decks. Wow, very interesting. Let's have a deep discussion about that very cool card. Reaper's Talisman. Black artifact equipment. Whenever it attacks, it gains Death Touch. Whenever it attacks alone, drain 2. Wow. Is that good? I mean, drain 2 is no joke, man. Dude, anything that provides a bit of reach is, like, worth its weight in gold in decks that otherwise can't do that. Or colours. And I know that black has some reach, but not in standard, right? I don't think there's anything there. Like Liliana can deal 3 damage sometimes. I don't know, man. This thing's kind of interesting to me. No stats, which is a bit sad, but this should give +1/+1. It doesn't auto-equip though, which is probably going to be its downfall. If it auto-equipped, it would be very good, I think. Probably won't get there. Not far off though. +1/+1, whenever a creature deals combat damage to a player, you may sack the equipment. If you do, create a token that is a copy of this creature. Again, it doesn't auto-equip, man. So it's 3 mana +1/+1 copy your creature. It's kinda awful. Yep, 3 mana copy your 2-drop is not cool. I mean, this thing's good, right? 1 mana, spells your opponent cast during your turn, costs 1 more to cast. For 3 you get an Anthem. I mean, that's a fair price. That's Glorious Anthem costs 3 anyway. Whenever you attack, until end of turn, target creature gets +1/+1 for each other attacking creature and gains double strike. I think this is good, right? So you get Tithe Taker effect on a 1 mana enchantment. Pretty good. Then you get Glorious Anthem, which is a pretty good card. And then you get, I mean, that 5 thing is really strong, but it's also disgustingly expensive. I think the first 2 are really good, yeah. I mean, most games this is going to be on level 2, huh? Or level 1. The games where it goes to level 3 don't really matter, I don't think. You keep all abilities if you unlock the others, yes. And if you play it, if I have this on level 2, and then I play another paladin class, the second one will come in at level 1. So you would have to pay again to go back to level 2. This card's really good. 4 of in mono white? I mean, I think so. I don't see why not. I mean, this just goes in mono white aggro, doesn't it? Or like, maybe you would play this in like a red-white deck too? Probably. Red-white's pretty good. Teleportation Circle. At the beginning of your end step, exile up to 1 target artifact or creature you control, then return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. Oh god, just Yorion Pio card, man. Resident Sleeper. Guys, look, it's a cool new card where someone can put Yorion in their deck, and then they can do this. Time to build some Yorion. Woohoo! I love Yorion. Yeah. Time to go through my sick deck building process. Oh, fuck yeah, man. Sick. This is fun. Lots of choices to be made. Alright, baby, let's queue it up. Let's go. My cool deck. Check out my new deck, mate. Yeah, this is a CGB card, man. Chat, all I will say is, when CGB is reviewing this card, do not ask him to stand up. Don't. Unless you want them to get banned. Hitting artifacts is nice too. Yeah, I mean you can bounce your tomes with this thing, huh? You can bounce your caskets, you can change target, you can bounce your portable holes. So a good card, man, yeah. And it's just in the type of deck that I wish didn't exist. I bounce my portable hole. Hey, man. Que Ecuador! Que Ecuador!